My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends. I'm just trying to make you some money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate, teach, put it in context. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. Just last Thursday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted 1,862 points after Fed Chief Jay Powell made some downbeat comments about the economy. Just as coronavirus cases were spiking in the South and the West. Today, the Fed chief once again made it clear that the economy remains weak. And we're seeing more gigantic coronavirus spikes in the South and West. Yet this time, the Dow surged 527 points. S&P jumped 1.90%. NASDAQ pole vaulted 1.75%. How is this possible? How's it possible? One day it goes down gigantically. Same thing. Next time it goes up. There were two key differences. First, the Fed's planning to buy individual corporate bonds to ensure the companies stay afloat. Nutty. Forget survival of the fittest. Powell's doing everything he can to limit the carnage. Survival of everybody. Second, this morning we had the biggest monthly retail sales gain in history, up 17% in May. That sounds very V-ish. In other words, we have a super accommodative Fed at the same time that we're getting much better data, which means the recovery has staying power. It means that if some ne'er-do-well almost broke oil company or restaurant chain wants to issue bonds, the Fed would probably buy them. Now, I know there are a lot of skeptics out there who find this whole movement specious, if not flat out fraudulent, fueled by clueless amateurs chasing momentum created by a slap-happy Fed desperate to print Weimar Germany-like money to avoid mass unemployment. If you listen to the big-time hedge fund managers who come on our network, well, they often make it sound like it's the most dangerous market they've ever seen. Of course, they said that about 10% ago and 15% ago, but they said it. The thing is, those amateur momentum chasers, they made a fortune, and the bears have kept you out of some incredible gains. Late last week, it looked like we might be having a reckoning, but now the bulls are ascending again. So what the heck is really happening here? More importantly, where are we headed? Okay, if you want to understand this moment, you actually need to look at stocks through the prism of one of my best teachers, Marty Zweig. I never met Mr. Zweig, but I watched him on Fridays when he'd go on Louis Rukeyser's Wall Street Week, and I hung on his every word. I used to say, oh, shut up, other panelists. Let Marty talk. Of course, I was only talking to the TV. Now I'm on TV. He had an unparalleled talent for making sense of the stock market for the commoner, for the beginner, the newbie, for me. Zweig helped democratize this business by explaining the market's reactions to the Federal Reserve and investors' collective reaction to the tape. Basically, he did what I try to do for you every night, but I'm no Zweig, but I am a devoted pupil. What would Zweig say about this moment? I can practically hear his stentorian but low voice saying, don't fight the tape. Don't fight the Fed. Yeah, let me spell these two commandments out in more detail. First, don't fight the Fed means that you cannot bet against the Federal Reserve chairman who's committed to getting the economy going and therefore the stock market going. Last week, Powell only gave us the bad news. It felt as though he was throwing it in the towel in the recovery, like he'd done all he can. He just had to wait and see. Market was in no mood for that wait and see move, and that's why we got crushed. This time, though, Powell goes all in, basically assures us there'll be no more bankruptcies. No more bankruptcies. That means no layoffs from otherwise healthy companies that are short on cash and can't raise money. Now everyone, save, sadly, small business, can raise money. That's huge. In the Great Depression, we were worried about the banks failing. Then they failed, and things got much worse. In the Great Recession, we were worried about the banks failing, and then they failed, and things got worse. Fed Chief Ben Bernanke stepped up finally and said he wouldn't allow any more banks to collapse. The Fed can print money, meaning they've got unlimited firepower. They just have to decide to use it. This time, Powell didn't wait for everything to fall apart. He moved aggressively to protect the banks. Now he's effectively backstopping their largest clients, too. That's great for the banks, great for the clients. That is, don't fight the Fed. What about Zweig's second commandment, don't fight the tape? This one was so hard for me to understand. I mean, I had like $10, you know what I mean? When I first heard it, I said, what's the tape? I mean, like Scotch tape? My dad sold Scotch tape. Anyway, well, no, it's what's going on in the market because of the issues of the day. Right now, there's a lot of green on that tape. Hey, you can see it's actually underneath a lot. You ever see it? It says, like, 3M and, Raytheon. You get it, right? I mean, I would go down on the floor and do it, but this is a really nice suit. All right, anyway, why does this happen? Because even though COVID... I could do it anyway. I'll just get it cleaned. All right. I'm down here now with the tape. You see me with the tape, right? Okay. Because even though COVID cases, see it's right underneath me, even though COVID cases are spiking, we got word that if doctors are using dexamethasone, that's a pretty mild steroid that I take, I took for a while, I switched to another one, they can dramatically lower the mortality rate for the worst cases. The people who need breathing help. Off-the-shelf drug that costs almost nothing. I know. When I took it, it was like a $5 copay job at Walgreens. Suddenly, this virus is a lot less deadly. That certainly influenced the tape. Remember, the tape is what's underneath me here. I'm caressing the tape, okay? I'm caressing, and I'm making the tape feel even better than it did. Then we got that incredible... Where's the Clorox wipes? I mean, who knows what's down there? Anyway, then we got that incredible retail sales number up 17%. Clorox. Up 17%. So even as the Fed is throwing gasoline on the Kingsfords, that's a Clorox product, they're already red hot. And that's how you get a conflagration of money looking for a home, and it finds itself on that tape that I just caressed so lovingly. Not lice. Oh, it's Clorox. Thank you. All right. Now, you see, you can't beat the army of buyers when they come in to love the tape. You can't. Don't fight this thing down here. Now, for the newbies who probably think that there really is a tape underneath me because they know so little and are watching the Davy thing, I'm buying all the cruise stocks. You see the Royal and they're all down at the end of the day. And the airlines, single-digit oil, they should be buying things like Apple. I know. Buy a percent, buy one share. What is that, the new fractional thing? Apple's flying. It was on a buy recommendation that absolutely, and I love the guy. Jim Cramer, super guy. But it had nothing new. It didn't matter. And how about the hint of an infrastructure bill on every place? More on that later. Possibility that customers must be returning to previously closed stores. How else do you get that amazing 17% gain? Put it all together, and you've got an unassailably bullish tape. There we go. Remember, it's underneath me, just in case you can't find it. Baby. Only a tape would take an baby with Clorox, which is the most deadly thing ever. Okay, anyway. That's why we love it. See, United Airlines teamed up with Clorox. I'm flying United. Boy, my arms are tired. Anyway, it doesn't mean you always have to go with the flow, all right? It doesn't. It doesn't mean you shouldn't make contrarian bets. But when you get this kind of buying, when nearly everything roars, and you try to fight it, you're fighting history. Or you're certainly fighting history when the Dow went down 1,800 points last week and you didn't do some buying. Is it possible that the newbies understand this with their endless buying of the airlines, the cruise ships? No. But it really ought to mean something to the bearish hedge fund managers who spent months scaring people away from the stocks. They fought this thing underneath me. They fought it. They probably got shedded on. Never mind. Zweig sadly passed away before he could become on CNBC. And he would explain this to all these people, including those new people who keep buying Royal Caribbean. I can't do it as well, which is one reason why I'm so easily hectored and made fun of. Another one is because I'm down in with my Brioni suit wiping the floor with Clorox wipes. But I know what I know. That's really smart. I know what I know. There's more syllogism for you. Don't fight the Fed and don't fight this, okay? This thing is underneath me. Sure, every now and then, they'll take a break like they did last Thursday. Just remember that they come right back after their day off. Yeah, you don't have to like it. And I know most of you don't. But the bottom line is that the Fed and the tape are on the side of the bulls, not the bears. And yeah, there's massive unemployment. It's horrible. And the disease is horrible. Everything's horrible, right? It's just a horrible time. But the pain of the recession happens to be distributed unequally. It's hitting small, medium-sized businesses. It's hitting minority businesses. It's hitting service economy businesses. It's hitting my barber, my bakery, and even my local watering hole, which I happen to own. But it's leaving most large enterprises unscathed. And that's why publicly traded stocks can keep riding this wide wave. So either surf or take your board and go home, and most definitely do this every 35 seconds, because that really makes life great. All right, let's go to Sean in New York. Sean.
Hey, Jim. A few weeks ago, you had Herbjorn Hansen on the show, CEO of Nordic American Tankers, and the stock has been crashing since then. What do you think about these oil tankers and all the money they've been making the last few months?
They peaked. Oil went up really big. The trade occurred, and now you got to move on. It was a trade. It worked fabulously, and then it peaked. And that's been the way of all shipping trades. Almost mentioned The Way of All Flesh, which is a decent book, not a great book. Let's go to Jeanette in Maryland. Jeanette!
Hi, Jim. I'm a first-time caller, and my husband and I are retired and living off dividend interest.
Okay.
And would like to know your opinion on WPC Carry.
Well, isn't that interesting? That's the first time in 16 years or 15 and a half that anyone has asked me about WPC Carry. And I it's a REIT, sale-leaseback REIT, and I hate to say it, but I don't like them. I know you're a first-timer. Let's stick with the highest quality and stay away from most of the REITs, okay? The REITs, a lot of the REITs have a lot of trouble, and it's hidden because we don't really know what they own. I suggest Verizon. All right, let's go to Sam in Connecticut. Sam.
Hi, Jim. How you doing today?
I'm having just a dynamite day. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to talk to you. I wanted to get your insight on iRobot Corporation. My family
they had a really good quarter. I can't hold it against them. That was a very, very good quarter that iRobot did. They delivered. I got to hand it to them. I think there's something there. All right, guys, listen to me. This time I'm going to be smart. I'm going to wear the cheapest mask, not the N95 that I have, not the KN95 from China, which I'm convinced does not work. But I'm telling you, don't fight the Fed and don't fight this thing that's underneath me. It's called the tape. And these two things are on the side of the bulls. On Mad Money tonight, I'm sitting down with the CEO of McDonald's to find out if the company's back in business as it reopens most of its locations following the COVID-19 shutdown. Then, is it time to start selling some of the sleepier pandemic plays? I'm going off the charts to find out. And is Canopy turning over a new leaf? I'm going to sit down with the CEO to find out what's ahead. How many times do you do this a day? How many times do you do this? When you brush your teeth, you go like that? Sometimes I do that. I wear them constantly. I hate them. Stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.